What up, Laker family? It's your boy DTLF back with another post-game recap. As unfortunately, the Lakers get embarrassed by the Oklahoma City Thunder. 121. This is the final score right here. 121 to 92. Basically, we got 30 pieced. All right. Now, this post-game is brought to you both in vertical format and in portrait format. So there's two separate versions of this video. Make sure you guys find whichever one you guys prefer. Okay. But we are live officially. Embarrassing effort. This is the second worst game of the season. First one was Atlanta. Now there's this one. We're starting to kind of build a little bit of a bad habit, which I'm not a fan of, and everybody's to blame, including JJ. I thought, Oklahoma City Thunder's coaching staff coached circles around the Lakers coaching staff tonight. There were minimal to no adjustments, and the effort was piss poor by our Lakers team. And we're going to pull up the stat sheet and everything and break it all down stat by stat. I'll read some comments as well. Guys, if we hit 350 likes, I'll turn on the phone lines before this video is over. All right, 350 is the number tonight. Let's see. Sis says, I don't think just LeBron will fix the team. Other moves have to be made. Yeah, this is the reason I wanted to see what this team was made of, because honestly, when we face really great teams like this one, and I think, like I said pregame, this is the favorite to win it all again, right? They have such a deep team. They are well coached. They're the defending champs. And you can see why. I mean, they flexed their depth tremendously. But, the reason I don't panic in this first game is simply because it's only one game, guys. And I think the Lakers, matter of fact, since Austin Reeves came back from injury, he hasn't looked the same. Luka Doncic had an off game tonight. The entire team played like cheeks. And credit to the Thunder because they're that great of a team. They made us look horrible, but I'm not going to put all my eggs in one basket and give up on this team yet. This could be an anomaly loss, like something where we just were off completely, right? But, I mean, credit to the Thunder, man. They did what they had to do. Like, the Lakers got off to a slow start, man. They came out flat, trailing 28-19 after that first quarter. I thought the Lakers had 2 good minutes all game long, and after that, it was downhill from there, right? So, I'm not happy with the effort. I'm not happy with anything that happened. We didn't compete. We didn't come out here and do it right. Like I said, we had 2 good minutes all game long. And again, let me pull up the stat sheet so you guys can see it. We had some crazy talk here during the halftime of people already wanted to trade players like Reeves and Luka and all this and all that. Look, nobody had a good game, guys. Rui had the worst plus minus from anybody, okay? And when he's not scoring efficiently, this is why a lot of people talk about trades and stuff, right? Not saying that it's warranted, but minus 35 on the plus minus in 33 minutes for 13 points on 5 for 11. You might say, well, he was one of the more efficient ones. DeAndre Ayton, only 6 points tonight, minus 18 on the plus minus. Marcus Smart, all right, only 9 points tonight, minus 21 on the plus minus. All right, he only had 1 steal. He made minimal impact. And again, 2 turnovers for him, 4 for DeAndre Ayton. 4 turnovers for Luka. Luka had only 19 points on what was supposed to be an MVP outing. 7 for 20 from the field. Credit to the Thunder, but minus 31 on the plus minus, not acceptable. Austin Reeves, 13 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 5 turnovers on 4 for 12 shooting. Him and Luka were an atrocity tonight. They've been good all season, but they finally combined and had their first combined bad game. That was bad. Our bench did little to nothing. Dalton Connect got all his 16 points in garbage minutes. Everybody else was utter trash, man. But it sucks, man. It really sucks, man. And it's really disappointing that this Laker team came out here and did what they had. They didn't do what they had to do. It's embarrassing. It's an embarrassment to us, the fans, who were anticipating a good game. It's an embarrassment to the coaching staff who try to prepare these guys and get them going. Although they really didn't do many adjustments. I'm a little disappointed in JJ today. I'm not going to lie. And I know, LA Mamba, you're right, bro. The Thunder are tough. But, I'll tell you, man, there's levels to this in this league. We haven't got to that level of the Thunder. Clearly, it's obvious. They're on a different level than everybody. This is why they're 12-1 on the season, right? They made examples out of 12 teams. Matter of fact, they're coming off a back-to-back where last night they smoked the Warriors by 30+. So, I'm telling you, bro, it's horrible. Get them, sis. Get them. We ain't got time for trolls. That's what I'm talking about, sis. Appreciate you. Dan, this is what I was referring to. What are we talking about exactly? The Lakers laying an egg? Yeah, they did. And this is the second bad game of the year, right? The other games, even when we lost, we at least competed. The Hawks game and this game, utter disappointment and just an absolute embarrassment, man. And it started from our leadership. It started from Luka and Austin. They didn't lead the team tonight, so they got to be held the most accountable. And then it trickled down to the role players and the coaching staff as well. So, yeah, hopefully the next two games are better for sure. We got to finish out this road. My goal for this team on the road trip was 3-2, realistically. Right now, we're 1-2. So we have to win out the rest of the way to hit my goal. I'd be happy we win the next two, but oh yeah, I don't know why. The same thing happens to Kimiko. Only when I block them, but you point them out and I'll block them permanently. I don't know why. It doesn't give me the option to give you guys the perma block. I would easily do it. I trust you and Kimiko, but yeah, you let me know who it is that's trolling because sometimes I can't read all their comments and I got you. I'll block them, especially if they said something really, really silly, because we're not in the mood for that. Man, our Lakers just got blown out, guys. This is a time to come together, talk about the game, and not start talking smack about each other or really talking about trading our superstars. Pathetic, right? Look, at the end of the day, hats off to the Thunder, man. Everything they did tonight from the beginning was impressive. I'll tell you, I'm impressed. I feel like they've gotten even better. They added players like AJ Mitchell. That's a second round draft pick. This man had 14 points for them. They added new talent. Shea did Shea things. Tonight, if the MVP ended tonight, it'd go to Shea, not Luka or somebody else, right? Luka didn't make an MVP case tonight, but he's still going to have plenty of opportunities. We'll see this team again. I think we faced them on February 9th, right? And that one's going to be on Peacock. I think that one's in our house. And then we'll face them again in April the 2nd. That's right before the playoffs, right? And then again, April 7th. Okay, so we're going to face them a total of 4 times. We're going to owe them one. What's concerning to me is the fact that they were efficient. They moved the ball extremely well. They rebounded extremely well. They did everything better than us, and they weren't even complete either. So we can't even use we didn't have LeBron excuse because they didn't have J-Dub, and they didn't have Lou Dort, and they didn't have Aaron Wiggins, right? Here's the bottom line. They blew us out. They didn't even shoot. They shot out abysmally from beyond the arc. They shot 30%. We actually shot better than them at 31%. Not much better, but better. But look, they knocked out most of their free throws, guys. We actually had 28 free throws. We only shot 67%. That's a recipe for disaster. What did I say pregame? Right? Rebounds, we came up dead even, believe it or not. But this is the biggest common denominator right here. The turnovers. 20 turnovers to 11 from the Thunder. They turned us over 20 times. I tell you guys 15 or less every night. And we conceded 26 points off of those turnovers. There's your ball game. If we take care of the ball, we're a lot closer, right? We're a lot closer, guys. Points in the paint, they smoked us too. That we got to worry about the bigs as well because they have a tandem down there. They're 2 bigs, Chet and what's his name from the ex-Knick big man. I always forget his name. That dude, they cooked us on the boards, man. They did what they had to do. So again, this to me is a learning process. This is a game they're gonna have to be looking at for a long time because we have to get better, man. They shot a total of 50% from the field. We shot 40. All right, 10% better. That's huge. That's a big difference. And again, our 20 turnovers compared to their 11, they took care of the ball and all of that, man. It's their largest lead was 37 points. So they really blew us out early, man. And I just, what disappointed me the most, I believe, was the fact that we didn't have no fight in us, fam. We didn't have no fight in us, not a damn single fight. And, that is supremely disappointing for me because I said, even if we lose, I said it pregame, even if we lose, we have to fight. We didn't fight, man. We look soft out there. We look like children compared to adults. That's what we look like. And even Luka couldn't handle the ball properly. They were blitzing him. We got to figure that out. We got to space the floor better. All right. We got to practice these situations because that's what's going to happen, man. Teams have caught on to what Austin and Luka are doing this season, are the best backcourt in the NBA. I still believe that, regardless of what the casuals say. And they've caught on, and guess what? They're looking for ways to stop them. Let's see. AJ says Lakers need athletes, not just scorers. We have plenty of athletes, man. LeBron's an athlete. We got Adu Thero. We got Jackson Hayes. We got some athletes. It's not so much that. It's easy to just point at that and be like, that's the only solution. There's a lot of little things the Lakers could have done better tonight. But one game, I won't let it define our season because there's a lot of room for improvement. Luka looks soft as hell, man. They dominated him. It happens, man. It happens. The game plan was great from the Thunder. They're a championship level team for a reason, and he just needs to bounce back better than that. Luka has had about 2 or 3 bad games this season. All right. Matter of fact, he was averaging 38 coming into this game. That's going to dip a little bit, but I had Luka averaging about 33 in the season, and I think I'm going to be right when it's all said and done. He's going to have amazing games when he drops 50, maybe even more. And then once in a while, he'll throw up a stinker, man. I watched him throughout his career. He'll have 4 to 5 great games before he has one bad one, though. That's the good news, right? So in a playoff series, that should help us. Now, however, for me, what I'm more concerned about is our bench. I don't feel like we have too much production. I'm glad that when we get LeBron back, some of the players that are starting now are going to head back to the bench, and that's going to bolster us a little bit more there, right? But it's still, I still don't trust certain positions at all. You know, there's certain positions that we still got to fix, and OKC looked like OKC, man. I can't even lie to y'all. OKC looked like the championship favorite, which I said pregame. They are the favorites to win it all again. We're a contender. There's a difference between a contender and a favorite. That means that we could be within striking distance when we get LeBron back and incorporate him. Once we make a trade deadline deal and all that, we could be within striking distance. But there's a huge difference between striking distance and somebody being on top and being the favorite, the championship favorite. That's what the Thunder are. I've been watching the entire NBA, and there's nobody that's close to the Thunder right now. Nobody, not even us. So we got a lot of room for growth and a lot of, we'll see when LeBron comes back. Let's see how we look and all that. But I'm still thinking we're going to need a better backup big and a better ball handling guard as a backup. I still don't trust Gabe. And Jackson Hayes tonight proved why I don't trust him. Jackson Hayes tonight was not impressive at all. Okay, sometimes even look unplayable again. Reminder, I got PTSD of the playoffs, bro. I'm telling you, Jackson Hayes is hit or miss. He's been good for the majority of the season. But tonight, guys, he didn't do much. In 14 minutes, brother had 2 points. He had 2 rebounds, and that's it, and a turnover. All right, and he was a minus 17. He had the worst plus minus from everybody on the bench. He looked unplayable again tonight, right? It's insane, bro. It's insane. And I'm not going to let nobody insult. See, everybody who's coming in here with a player agenda is going to get blocked because I'm not going to let you guys insult our Laker fans and say stupid things like D-Riders. And what are you talking about, D-Riders? We're rooting for a team, not one player. You know what I mean? Unique. There's nothing unique about you, bro. Get blocked. Get wrecked. I got him. He's out of there. How you going to say D-Riders because we lost? It's almost like player fans are waiting for certain players, right? It's almost like player fans are waiting for certain players just to get their little agenda off, to have a bad game. And that's not a real Laker fan. We have room for growth. Yes, they had horrible games, right? They had horrible games, but that doesn't mean that you can get off your little sneaky agenda, bro. Oh, trade him. Oh, we get it. You're a LeBron fan. And great. Hey, LeBron's a great player. Can't wait to have him back. I think, who said it? I think, Sis, you said it, right? We stack chips. Shout out to Tara. She said, one player's not going to fix all the issues that we showcased tonight. And that's facts. Even if we had LeBron tonight, we probably still get blown out. Maybe not as much. Maybe 15 points get shaved off that blowout, but it's still a 15-point blowout, right? So we have to figure out how to come out with better energy, better effort, execute better in the half court because, man, I'll tell you what, this team tonight would have been better off fast breaking, but we need to get stops to do that, right? Because in the half court sets, Oklahoma City is dangerous, absolutely freaking dangerous, right? It's weird, isn't it weird? Yo, Just Be. It's so weird to me how they just wait till we lose. They never stop by and say hi when we win, right? Never, right? But when we lose, all these little agendas, man, you would think we on ESPN the way the agendas are popping off. Let's see, trade Vando and Hayes. I think the trade deadline this year is going to be very interesting because I think there's going to be some activity. I think the Lakers could be buyers. I think Mark Walter is about his business. We've seen what he's done. For sure what he has done with the Lakers. With the Dodgers. So I can expect something similar with the Lakers. I don't think he's going to be no nonsense. Whatever he doesn't like is going to get shipped out. Whatever he likes is going to get shipped in. The IE Network says Klay Thompson. I think a change would be good for him. What do you think, Dan? I don't like his contract. I think he's still on a multi-year deal, if I'm not mistaken, right? And he said it himself, man. He's past his prime already. He's done. And then him dating Megan Thee Stallion, I'm not sure that's a great pickup. I'm really not sure. You know, at the end of the day, look, we're not fully healthy, and that's not going to be an excuse. We have to be buyers at the trade deadline because, like I said, we still got to shore up some things for sure. I don't think we're a complete team. I've never said that. Even when we're 8-3, we're now 8-4. Sky has been falling, so don't let these little agendas pop off in the chat. But I'll tell you, man. Do we have room for growth? Absolutely, tons of room. And I think JJ can have a field day showing the Lakers everything all the mistakes they're making, so they can learn from it. We have to learn from these type of games. Otherwise, it is such a waste of time. It is such a wasted loss if we don't learn from it. And they'll do it again the next time they face us in Staples Center, right? We can't just act like, oh, because we're on the road. No, they thoroughly outplayed us, and we got to keep it a buck, man. We got to keep it a stack. Absolutely, like all over the stat sheet, they was cooking, man. You know, so we have to improve in the effort and the IQ. I feel like we came out here tentative. It's almost like we were scared of them. And, you know, it was honestly embarrassing to see that, you know, because we're the Lakers. We're not supposed to be scared of nobody, especially with the 8-3 start, right? But again, the Lakers now are going to be demoted to 8-4, still 4 games over 500. So the sky hasn't fallen. They still got plenty of room for improvement. I still believe in this team, but they got to make those adjustments for sure. I'll take a couple comments here. Dan, would you trade a shooter, a playmaker, wing defender, or a big man? I think a wing defender and a big man would be nice. If we can get a guard, a playmaking guard, and a big man, I'd be happy with that as well. I'm prioritizing the center and point guard positions, though, as a backup, because that's where I think we're the weakest. I still don't trust Jackson. Tonight he proved why. And at least not as the only backup big, right? Maybe as a third stringer, that's fine. As an energy guy who can provide a spark from time to time, but you can't really count on the energy always to be for him to play under control. Sometimes he gets sloppy, he turns the ball over, he sets moving screens, and he does things to hurt our bench even. So appreciate you, Kimmy. Go, yes, hit that like button, guys. We get to 300 likes on either of the two. Again, I got it on portrait mode and on the landscape mode. All right, so it's 2 separate videos, but you guys are all in one chat. I'm reading it all from the same spot. All right, so hit that like button. Please get rid of Vando. Can't have one-way players. Vando's looking more expendable by the day. Problem is, how much trade value is he going to have, you know, in the minds of GMs? GMs are moving more away from defense and moving more towards offense. It seems like a heavy offensive, league. It's a lot of offense. Not a lot of defense even allowed to be played. They call everything a foul. Look, I don't want to critique OKC too much. They're defending champs, and they proved that tonight. But there's one thing I can complain about is the flopping, right? With all this flopping that's going on, players like Marcus Smart and Vando are going to struggle a little bit more. And Vando has been struggling for a couple of games now. So, man. I agree, Nate. Yes, I agree with that take, Nate. Yep. We play the Rockets on Christmas. I don't think the Rockets are like a favorite. They might be an outside looking in type contender. Like if everything lines up for them, but they're still lacking a point guard, a starting caliber point guard. You know, they're lacking that. So they got to get that together for sure. Let's see here. Dan, I would love Herb Jones on our team. He'd be nice, but I'm not going to lie. He would be nice for sure. Let's trade for Giannis. Now, that's something we cannot do. Unless Giannis requested a trade and put the Lakers on the list, we cannot get involved in this type of talk because it'll shred team morale early. I think the star players are fine where they're at. I just think we got to trade around the fringes. And I think Rob has done a good job of that. Now, he usually takes his time before he strikes a deal, but when he does, it's kind of paid dividends. So I think the Lakers just got to be smart, take their time, and if there's a deal to be had, great. Look into the buyout market, all of that. And the players that, to me, are the most tradable as far as like what doesn't fit on this team but might fit somewhere else, either because it's an expiring contract or the assets they bring, the skill set they bring fits another team better, are Gabe Vincent. I'm starting with him. Vando, I have to throw him in there because he just, honestly, I don't know if it's JJ Redick's system or the way he coaches, but Vando has looked so ghostly. He looks like Casper the Friendly Ghost. He disappears. Sometimes I forget he's even out there in games, right? So Vando might be another one that's very, movable. And let's see who else. I know I'm forgetting some names. I mean, I wouldn't mind trading Jackson Hayes for a better backup big, but if not, he's okay to hold on for energy as a third stringer. But I still want another big. But there's a couple names out there. Obviously, Maxi Kleber, who has an expiring contract, and he's never really available. So any team that's a seller, maybe we can move that contract, attach something to it, some sort of asset. Dalton looks very tradable because he's a one-way player. Yes, he had 16 tonight, but he makes minimal impact on the Lakers. He wasn't what was promoted. Everybody said we got the steal of the draft for 1/4 of the first season, his rookie season. Yes, after that, he has been downward spiral quickly. All right, Solo, have a good night, bro. Rui, question marks about Rui. Obviously, I don't like nights like tonight where he had the worst plus minus and he was very inefficient defensively, but he's had many great offensive nights and he's improving. So I'll leave Rui on the fringes unless it's worth a trade like Michael Porter Jr. or somebody that's an upgrade. Then I wouldn't trade Rui either. But like tonight, man, we gave up a lot of second chance points on the rebounding, man. Rui doesn't help there. I feel like Ayton was out there on the front line by himself. Somehow we ended up with 42 rebounds apiece. Maybe that's because our third stringers helped out in that department. But overall, man, it's just very, very underwhelming. But yeah, man, Luka was not Luka tonight. Austin lost his powers. Okay, he hasn't been the same since the injury. He had an okay game, last game versus the Charlotte Hornets, but it's just okay. He hasn't been that MVP candidate that we were used to before the groin strain, right? So should we be concerned about that? I don't know. Let's see. Vando, Hayes, Gabe, Kleber, Dalton, Bronny can all go. Bronny's not going to go anywhere as long as LeBron's here. That's just the truth, man. It's pointless to even throw him in conversations, right? It's very pointless. Guys, let's trade Dalton to the Wizards for Cam Whitmore. I'd love to have him, Benaya, but I'm actually not sure what the Wizards are doing. They're like a wild card. They got a bunch of, they got Chris Middleton over there with Cam Whitmore, the Bub Carrington, who I like. They got some young and they got a lot of old, man. He said the Lakers just took an ass whooping. No one showed heart. Exactly. And that's my biggest concern is like, come on, man, you guys were supposed to show up. The fans showed up for this one. We were very excited and we got let down, right? So I just don't understand, man. That's the Hawks game and this one are 2 games for concern in this young season. Yes, we're still 8-4, but the first 12 games, you know what I mean? Like we shouldn't have had those 2 games right there. I think we've had 10 good games and 2 bad ones in the 12-game sample size, right? But we got to keep improving, man. We got a lot of room for improvement, guys. I'll take some comments. They say we're not going to hit our mark of 300 likes, but hey, you can't turn on the phone lines every night, right? Most of our bench wouldn't be in the league, maybe. You think so? Well, let's see. Let's look at our bench because we're starting some of our bench, right? Marcus Smart's probably going to come off the bench when LeBron comes back. He's probably going to be the odd man out. I doubt it'll be Rui. I think Marcus Smart will come off the bench. So that's going to help. Jake LaRavia has not been good lately. The last 3 games or so. Before that, he was balling out, so I think he could contribute. Vando as a defender, fine. Jackson Hayes as an energy guy, fine. Outside of that, I can't think of too many. Dalton has been almost unplayable at times. Bronny has shown flashes. Same thing with our guy Nick Smith Jr., but there's still a lot to be desired from those positions, if we're being honest, right? This is why I'm saying I don't trust Gabe Vincent. I'm sorry. I know he was super Gabe during preseason, but like I said, until I see regular season and postseason, I can't trust it, man. And so, again, a lot of room for improvement. But there's gonna be opportunities, guys. I know there will be, and there's always like a buyout candidate or a trade deadline deal to be had or something to, like I said, kind of spruce up the edges right there a little bit. Let's see. D Prince says we had one and done offense the entire game. We can't grab a single freaking offensive rebound. A big problem for me, that's a great point, bro. A big problem for me though was when we start jacking up 3-pointers. When we start jacking up 3-pointers, that is a huge problem for me. Luka Doncic was a big culprit in this. He was 1 for 7 from beyond the arc. Austin Reeves 0 for 5. At one point, if you're 0 for 3, bro, Austin, you gotta stop shooting threes at least. All right, Luka Doncic 1 for 7, bro. If you're 1 for 5, stop shooting threes. Okay, Marcus Smart 1 for 5. 1 for 4. Right, Rui 2 for 5, and he's usually very efficient, but he probably shot better than everybody tonight. We settled for a lot of threes tonight, and it seemed like we didn't get comfortable putting the ball on the floor. Again, credit to Oklahoma City. I can't really fully only talk about the Lakers in this sense. You got to credit Oklahoma City, man, for the defense, their defensive prowess, man. They got everybody buying in. Everybody. I think Caruso and Hartenstein were 2 players that changed that culture the moment they arrived there. And that's what Marcus Smart is starting to do for us. But we still need to keep buying in more. We need to, clamp up more. We need to bring that full confidence that we brought the first couple of games, right? And that's why we were winning in the season. So again, tonight was a horrible anomaly. I hope we don't keep becoming repeat offenders and showing a lack of heart and intensity like we did tonight. Miguel said, if I'm the Lakers, I'm calling and asking about Herb Jones and Trey Murphy the third. There's a lot of players around the league. I'm also asking about the two wings and for the Indiana Pacers, man. They suck. They might be having a fire sale pretty soon. I would ask for Andrew Nemhard and the other guy, Naismith. I'm asking for both of them to see what it would take, right? You definitely got to do your due diligence if you're Rob, because there's going to be some sellers out there. Maybe not some of the players we mentioned, but somebody. I'm sure somebody's going to slip through the cracks, and that's when Rob has to be there like a shark, just like same way he pounced on Nico Harris when he saw the opportunity is the same way he has to bounce on any other GM. He has to pounce on them, right, and make sure that we make the right trade. He said, we're desperate when Vando and Bronny start jacking up threes. Yo, when I saw my guy Vando hit a three, I was like, oh man, like I wish you could hit these when the game was on the line, when it actually counts, right? AJ says, I'm terrified of OKC right now. Denver might be the only team that can compete with them. I knew OKC was going to be terrifying moving forward, and they are the future for sure. They are everybody's measuring stick because they just won the title, and they continue to show that they are a favorite. But we competed with them last year, man. I know we can. That's why I'm so disappointed in this showing. I know we can. And we got a better team this year than we had last year. I know we're dealing with some injuries early on, but we actually competed with these guys, and I just want to see more of that, more competition. Key said this game should be a measuring stick. Instead, OKC took that stick and whooped our behind. That's funny. Thank you so much for Super Chat, brother. Appreciate you. Appreciate the first Super Chat of the evening. Look, man. Oklahoma City, they did what they were supposed to do. The Lakers did not, and that was the biggest difference. We came out here, jacked up shots, looked rattled, looked scared like little kitties, and they were the big dogs on the porch. Sometimes you gotta tip off your hat to the better team. They are the better team right now. Does that mean they'll be the better team after March, after April? We'll see. Hopefully not. But right now they are the better team. When we get LeBron back, the dynamic is going to change a lot. I think our depth gets bolstered a little bit. Things are going to change a little bit around here. Keith, appreciate you, man. He said, we're a bench away from being legit title contenders. Mark my words. No, I believe you. Because of any weakness that I see is definitely the bench. I also would like another big who for these type of matchups when you're going up against a double big to throw out there alongside Ayton. I think this is why I wanted Horford. I wanted Horford to throw him out there with Ayton at times, and you have double bigs because Rui is not a big. I'm sorry. All right, let me go ahead and pull up Rui numbers again. He always underwhelms in the rebounding category, and Ayton's going to need helping down there in the paint, right? Rui he actually had 5 rebounds, but even that's underwhelming in 13 and 33 minutes. Okay, 5 rebounds is okay, but I don't remember the last time I seen Rui get a 10 to 12 rebound game. All right. Ayton didn't do much better himself, but he had, less minutes, obviously 5 rebounds himself. But, I do believe I am a little bit concerned about the double big lineups out there, man. There's a lot of teams that are extremely big and they play 2 bigs. And how are we going to match up with them? And the Thunder are one of them. Matter of fact, think about this. The 2 teams that made it to the finals were extremely big in the front court last year. All right, we don't want to have a repeat of that because we don't have 2 bigs. LeBron's going to help with the rebounding when he comes back, right? If he plays the 4, he's going to help. But, man, I do want to have another option there just to relieve some pressure. We don't want LeBron out here having to get 12, 15 rebounds just to have us compete versus teams like the Thunder, because that's how you risk injury versus a 41-year-old and counting. You see my point? So this team just leaves so much to be desired, man. And, they show us glimpses, but obviously we haven't fully, came into our best version of ourselves, right? We haven't done it yet. We had size to match up with them. Now, remember, we didn't have a lot of size. All we had was Jackson Hayes. Remember? Elizabeth, all we had was Jackson Hayes because we had already did the Luka trade. And remember, we won one handily with Luka, and we were excited. And then we lost one by a point because Luka got ejected in the 4th. Remember? So we almost had him twice with Luka. This is a bad start, but I do believe we can still compete with them. And I think when LeBron comes back and they get everything together, maybe even make a trade, we're going to be good. He said scoring guard, wing, backup big. Put that on the whiteboard. Yeah, you know what? I wouldn't mind getting at least two of those three things right there. That would be nice. Tempo says, who are we benching when LeBron comes back? That's a good question, Tempo. If I had to take a guess and bet the house on it, I would say Marcus Smart. One thing I know about JJ is he does not bench Rui. He loves Rui. And rightfully so. His scoring is elite. His shooting is elite. Even at night when everybody's shot was off, he was 2 for 5 from beyond the arc for 40%. So Rui still can cash him in, and you need that around LeBron and Luka, right? But again, defense and rebounding is definitely a weakness with that man right there. We need 2012 LeBron James, and that's the sad part. See, we shouldn't be saying we need LeBron at this age. We should be saying whatever LeBron adds is going to be a bonus. But if we're saying we need, we're already in trouble because, man, he can only give us so much at his age, right? Like, I'm not expecting the stars of the moon. So check this out. So this is what Marcus Smart had to say after this loss. He said, there's nothing you can take away other than we got our ass kicked and we got to bounce back. Marcus Smart and the Lakers' lopsided loss, Oklahoma City, to the defending champs. Look, I love Marcus, but I disagree with that. There's a lot you could take away, bro. And I hope that the coaching staff dissects the shit out of that game and annoys you to oblivion. That way you guys never come out with this effort and energy and lack of execution again for the rest of the year, man. I don't want to see another game like this. And I'm pretty sure I'll see one or two more like this, maybe even more. But these are deflating games. These are counterproductive. These are momentum killing games. Like we're trajecting upwards before this road trip, and now we've lost 2 out of 3. And so we're a little bit back down to earth. And the West again continues to jock for position. So again, this team, man, just leaves so much on the table, so much on the line where we can improve. And I pray that we keep getting better. Miguel says Marcus Smart defensive tenacity might be something to look at once Bronze is back in the starting lineup. I wouldn't mind starting. Listen, my starting lineup would have Marcus Smart in it right now because he has earned it. Austin, Luka, Marcus Smart, LeBron, and Ayton or something like that, right? But the problem is that we need even more size in the paint because we don't want to rely on LeBron to have to give us 12 rebounds a night for us to compete. Ayton is going to give you anywhere between 7 to 10 on a good night, right? Sometimes a little bit more, but Rui's not a rebounder. LeBron can be a rebounder. Do we want him overexerting himself? No. I want him to average about 5 to 6 max. Okay, I don't want him averaging like 10, 15. Nothing crazy, right? So, again, I wish we could trade for a guy who could you could just plug him in. He's a backup. Jackson Hayes becomes a third stringer. You could plug him in even alongside Ayton. You can have a dual big man lineup with LeBron at the 3 at times, just to match up versus big teams like these. We don't have that luxury. That is something that is missing right now from the Lakers, right? We have a lot of luxuries. We can switch multiple positions from the guard, from the wing position. We can switch a lot of different things. We can't we can't match up with the double big man. And tonight we kind of got exploited. A couple second chance opportunities took us all the way out of this ball game. But again, we were never really in it outside of the first 2 minutes. I was thinking we were going to bring it, man. First 2 minutes we went up. I think it was 7-2. I believe. Let me double check that. I believe that was our biggest lead of the ball game, and then all hell broke loose after that. So just unfortunate, but hey, man, it's a long season. I don't want nobody getting disparaged and discouraged, right? And let's hope for the best, man. Let's hope for the best. But yeah, our largest lead was actually 5 points. It was 7-2. After that, after the first couple minutes, bro, we got 37 pieces at one point. We were down 37, chat. I was thinking it was gonna be a 40-point blowout. I didn't like that at all. Let's see. Miguel says Rui isn't a rebounder. He's a 6'8" forward who rebounds like he's 6'1", unfortunately. This modern NBA is different, man. A lot of the tenacity and grit that certain players had just isn't there for other players. Like usually you would look at somebody of Rui's build and you're like, oh yeah, he's gonna gobble up rebounds. He'll at least average 8 to 9. Doesn't seem to be the case. Another thing that also hurts that is the fact that Luka's a great rebounder and Austin's a pretty solid one too. So they're going to take away rebounds from Ayton and Rui. But I'm talking about the effort rebounds. He could average at the minimum. I think Rui's capable of averaging 5. Minimum. He averages like 3 at best, maybe like 2.8. right? So I think he's capable of averaging at least a couple more rebounds if he had that motor, but it's missing, man. It's missing. My guy Just B said, all that work with the sumo wrestling for what, Rui? You know what? I get excited in the offseason when I see pictures like that, but I'll tell you, I don't get too overexcited. I always say, let's see how we look during the season, right? Because that all sounds good. It's like, you know what it reminds me of? When the Lakers post all these workouts in the offseason. Same thing Ben Simmons used to do. Remember when the jump shot was looking good during the Drew League, during the summers and stuff? Then the regular season would strike and bam. Also reminds me of when you see a commercial, you see this Carl's Jr. burger looks big and juicy, and you go and you buy it, and it looks like a Happy Meal. It's tiny. The bacon looks all undercooked, and yeah, it never looks like it's never as good as advertised. So that's the disappointing thing about certain role players. And yeah, I was excited to see my guy Rui out here training with sumo wrestlers, and all of a sudden you can't rebound, man. Let's see. D Prince says there was one play where Jax is in the post against smaller players, but passed it back outside. That man only knows dunking, no post. Yeah, bro. He is at this point of his career, he is who he is. Jackson Hayes is not a reliable big man you can dump it off to and watch him go get you a bucket. He is a lob threat, a screen setting, lob threat, weak side defender. I say weak side because he's better at blocking shots from the weak side and helping somebody recover, right? Let's see. AJ says we can't expect year 23 LeBron to save the Lakers. He's supposed to be the cherry on top. The whole team looked bad tonight, but I did not like what I saw from Austin as a second option moving forward, in my opinion. And I disagreed with you on that, AJ, because Austin Reeves is coming from a strained groin, right? And so it might take him a couple of games. He hasn't looked the same since he got hurt. And he got hurt because he was carrying. He didn't just look like a second option. He looked like the first option while Luka was out. He has plenty of 40-point games. He has like 2 or 3 this season already. I lost count. And a game winner. So we weren't saying that when that was happening, AJ. We got to keep the same energy. He had an off game here, and so did Luka. Luka didn't even look like a second or third option either. He looked like he didn't look good either. So we can't really single out just Austin when nobody really had a good game tonight, right? This was a team loss. Now, if Luka was balling, he had like 40, and then Austin would have laid up this dot, I would have called him out a little bit more because I'm like, bro, you got to be helping Luka. Look at all the pressure he's getting. He should be having some wide open looks, but that wasn't the case, man. The defense just tightens up more and more when they both don't have it going, unfortunately. So I'm going to respectfully agree to disagree with you on that one. Rui needs all LSX motor. That's funny. Hey, this is the best thing about this channel, man. Make sure you guys hit the like button, whether you're in my portrait version of this live stream or whether you're in the other version. Hit the like, y'all, because this is where we come to vent. We feel a lot better. It is only one game in the season, guys. Silver lining, we're still 8-4. LeBron's around the corner, all right? If you guys were here for pregame, you know he's starting to ramp up his whole process. He might even be with the Lakers at home, you know, once the road trip concludes. We got 2 more road games to go. I hope we don't split them. I hope we finish 2-0 and we end up this road trip 3-2. 3-2 would be awesome. It would be awesome. What is wrong with Jackson Hayes? Well, he's not really reliable. He's not really ever been proven. You know what I'm saying? It hasn't been proving, man. Let's see. EM says, if you can't beat the Lightning, you sure can't beat the Thunder. Bruh, the Thunder are... Look, when I look at the Thunder team and the way they're constructed, Sam Presti has drafted magnificently. Not only was that Paul George trade a freaking godsend for them because they ended up, people don't know this, a lot of people don't know this. Not only did they get Shea out of that, but they got J-Dub out of that trade too, because one of the draft picks was J-Dub. Okay, and by the way, Clippers stink, Thunder don't, and the Thunder is still going to end up with a top 10 pick probably. And that's the scary part. Imagine they end up with the best player in the draft again. Oh, man, that's a problem, right? So the Clippers just royally screwed themselves, and the Thunder feasted. On top of that, they've been good at drafting for years, man. We're talking about players like Serge Ibaka, Jeff Green, Kevin Durant, James Harden, Russell Westbrook. Like, they've drafted a lot of Hall of Fame level talent, right? So they continue to do it. You know, they got another second round pick steal. They will continue to do it, man. So, hey, Who said if you can't beat them, join them? Never that, bro. We're Lakers for life, man. We sticking with our squadron forever, baby, forever. No matter what, win, lose, draw, we still here, and you guys know that, y'all. You guys know that. Let's see. Elizabeth says, Dan, I don't think they came out to play today because the body language was off. And that's just the thing, Elizabeth. That's my biggest issue is anytime they come out like that, they're going to get waxed. They're going to get that ass waxed for sure. You know, and it's not a good feeling, man. Oh, yeah. OKC's very beatable. I'm not saying that they're a perfect team. I'm sure they got some loopholes and some flaws in there, but we got to figure that out. Because right now, OKC is the best team in the NBA. All right. I don't see a close second, too, right now. Maybe that gap will close a little bit more once we get closer to, like I said, the playoffs. But right now, OKC is looking to have like a big season. I'm talking a 70-plus win season. This is after winning the championship. So they're building upon what they already built, and they're adding to it. You know? Just be said 3-2 is what I had in mind as well. They can bounce back. Mr. Basketball Sicko JJ better lay into this team for the lackluster performance. Honestly, we've been a bit off for the most part the past 6 quarters. I'll be honest with you, man. I haven't really been impressed with the Lakers since we beat the Spurs. And even that game was ugly and sloppy. But at least Luka and Austin put up their numbers, man. You know, we have to this Laker unit is capable of so much more. We've seen it, man. We've seen it in Spurs. But, again, they have to make that a staple. They have to make greatness a staple. This is what Austin had to say. He said, just to be blunt, they beat the shit out of us tonight, end quote. So they know what happened. But I want them to elaborate a little bit more on what they could have done better. All right, because if I was a reporter, I'd be like, all right, yeah, man, you guys got the shit beat into you. What could you guys have done better to prevent this ass whooping? Like, that's the type of reporter I would be. Like, you can't just give me one of them, like, yeah, they just beat the crap out of us. And all right, thank you, Austin, for your time. No, you know, and I love Mike Trudell. He's a GOAT. But I would definitely be laying into him and be asking, like, hey, man, like, what's wrong? Like, is the groin strain still bothering you? Like, what's going on? Let's see. Dan, I heard something about Sam Presti being a Laker on the Lakers' radar with the new ownership, but I think he just re-signed a contract if I'm wrong. I have no idea. I got to look into that, Miguel. I haven't looked into what the new ownership is going to do yet, but I'm sure they got a lot on the horizon, and I'm excited for it. Again, somebody was asking me what I thought of Mark Walter, the brand new owner. I'm like, just look at the Dodgers and what he did there. So I know we're in good hands, like Allstate, right? So just got to make sure that we execute the little things. I mean, this is going to be the first. Think about this. This is going to be the first trade deadline under new ownership, right? That's huge. That is huge. And we're going to kind of see where the sense of urgency is and how we look, you know? But again, guys, that is going to wrap it up for me. The final score, 121-92. Nobody really played good on the Lakers tonight. This is one of those games where you just hope to put it in the rear view and take off as quickly as possible because we got to take off this season for sure. Let's see. Hey, we got another super chat. Keith, thank you so much, my brother. So don't get me wrong. I love me some basketball, but some games start late at 8:30 p.m. That's new this year. I'm not sure why, bro. I honestly don't understand why they start so late. I know Oklahoma City is in the West Coast, man, but it's closer to the East Coast, man. It should have started at least at 5. I agree with you, Keith, especially for the East Coast Laker fans, man. I wish that the game started at least an hour earlier. For sure, it's very possible. I don't understand why the commissioner hasn't adjusted that. And maybe it's all these new streaming platforms and all the pre-games and all of that. But, you know, regardless, we'll be here. We'll be covering it and breaking it down and all that good stuff. Elizabeth says, Dan, I think Rob needs to start making calls for the trades, and it has to be quick. I don't know about quick. I think what's going to happen is we're going to wait and analyze what we have when the team is complete with LeBron and see what we need to plug around LeBron, Austin, and Luka. And I think then we'll have that conversation. But, hey, I got you guys covered, guys. That is going to wrap it up for me. Again, thank you guys so much for tapping in, man. You didn't have to post-game because I know a lot of people are in a bad mood after the Lakers win. But we come here, we vent. We voice our opinions, man. Everybody, this is the people's channel. You guys have an opinion, whether we agree or disagree. As long as we keep it respectful, you have an opinion, and it is respected, man. We'll definitely chop it up. Got it again. NBA Coast to Coast coming tomorrow. I'm not sure. I haven't really scheduled it with my friend yet, so I don't know what time, but hopefully before noon tomorrow morning. Okay, so stay tuned for that. This video was brought to you and sponsored by Underdog and PrizePicks, two of the best daily sports fantasy apps out there. So make sure you guys tap in with promo code DTLF, man. And if you guys weren't here for pregame, go tap back in because I had a pretty cool announcement that will kind of, prevent me from doing the post game on Saturday. But if I don't get it Saturday night, I'll get you guys Sunday morning for sure on that post game for the Milwaukee Bucks game. Still got you guys for the Friday game, though. And we still got to end this road trip strong. So let's see how it goes, man. Appreciate you guys so much. Hit that like button, man, whether you're on vertical or you're on portrait mode. Appreciate you guys, man. All you got to do on vertical, all you got to do is double tap the screen. And on portrait, you hit the actual like, all right? Thank you, guys. Have a good night. Peace.